Welcome to another episode of Just My Baby Daddy podcast. It's your favorite baby daddy, AJ. Today, it is so good to connect with other dads that are into dad content. And today, we have our guy, Mr. Gavin Bolware. How you doing, sir?
Bro, I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is like a long time coming. Like a long time coming. Like this is well overdue. I remember when you first like shot us an email, like it had to be over a year ago. And I thought it was like a fake email. I ain't gonna lie, because like when you start your pod, you get all them spam emails, people trying to
Yeah.
help, people want to come on. And I was like, all right. And then I looked at the name. I'm like, hold on, this name kind of look. I tell you what sold it for me. Y'all had a logo and it was super fire. And I was like, all right, this is a real pie, but we've been chopping it up. So I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, the logo changed. The logo had two people on it. It's so much
Yeah.
better. It's just me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if his ass even listen. If he do, kiss my ass, Eli. I'm gonna get you on here too.
Yeah. Come on, Eli. You gotta come sit with us one more time, man.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm gonna start you off the same way we start off everybody on the pod.
Right.
What does it mean to you to be a dad?
Bro, being a dad to me is like, how do I want to say this? First of all, it's special to me because I had a great relationship with my father. One that wasn't always perfect, but it was like my dad had me when he was 21. You know what I'm saying? My dad and mom got married. They got married when he was 20, my mom was 18. 1 year later, I'm here. So I grew up with my parents. That's what I love to tell people. Like, I grew up with my parents. So I saw them make mistakes. First of all, I don't know who the hell gets, first of all, I don't know what woman gets married at 18. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, my favorite thing my father used to always tell me is like, yo, your mom ain't the same woman she was when she was 18, when she was 25, 35, 45. Like, and he was like, I didn't know that woman. You know what I'm saying? So for me, growing up with my father, growing up, they kids with kids, right? And I'm growing up with them. It was dope because I seen the sacrifices he made. And I always said, like, hey, I want to be a better version of that. So for me, it's like a great opportunity to show that, hey, I had a great example. Let me see how I can take this shit to like the next level, stuff like that. So being a father to me is it's just like an achievement, a lifetime achievement award. I just gotta work a lifetime to get that achievement
Yeah.
award.
Like, you know what's sad? Well, I don't say it's sad, but I'm glad you think of it as a reward because we ain't gonna get one. Like, you're not gonna we ain't gonna get one for it. Like,
Bro, you gotta relax. You look,
it's the
well,
truth. It's the truth. I'm glad we do it. It's thankless, but we do it. We reward ourselves.
you know what? Because you say like, hey, I want to be a great dad. First of all, we say that, right? And we don't realize to like become a great dad, you have to work. And these kids would test you, they will work you. And I only have a 3-year-old, you know what I'm saying? So he just got here. And it's just like, but every day I'm working and every day I'm realizing like, damn, the light is not like near the end of the tunnel. It's more work to be done. And it's funny because I was telling Mike, my co-host, I was telling him today, I was like, I don't think I didn't need my dad until I was like 33. Well, I was like, all right, I think I got this. Like, I got it, right? But before then, you know what I'm saying? I laugh because I'm like, I'm pretty sure my dad was like at 18, I'm good, right? Like he gonna be good. And he sent me out to college. He did the minimum requirement, whatever the case was. And then it was like, well, I need him till 21, right? Then well, not even 21. I need you till I get out of school. And then it was like, I moved into my first home and I needed him, he came to every meeting with me because I just didn't understand stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then you speed up and then I'm getting married and then I need his advice on that. And then it's like, all right, then I have a kid. The joke is, and this is gonna sound crazy. I said 33 and I'm 36. I flooded my house literally 6 months ago, right? The water hose came out the washing machine, flooded my upstairs, came downstairs. I came home. I was gone for 45 minutes from the crib. And I walked in my house and the ceiling is raining. It's raining from the ceiling, right?
Mm.
First person I called was my father. I ain't called the police. I ain't called the fire department. I ain't called the insurance people. I called my dad and I was like, yo, I need you at my crib. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then I called him back. I was like, yo, I got this. I was like, I just needed to calm down, but I just needed, somebody to talk to right quick. And he was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, you can come by whenever, but it ain't no big deal." And he came by a couple hours later. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they always gonna make you work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that means you still need them though. You can
Absolutely.
you can say up until you're 33, but that's not going to stop. That's not going to
Never.
stop because when you turn, because you're not 40 yet, right?
Nah, bro.
Because
I'm 36.
when you turn 40, it's like, well, what is this new 40 going to feel like? Like,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have just having that influence there is going to be key. You know what I mean? I mean, I say that as somebody that don't have it. I'm just guessing that it sounds good, right? Like, but I would think it would be key. I mean, I would want to have it, like if somebody to talk
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have just because I don't know the age difference isn't as vast, but like when I'm 60, I ain't gonna have nobody 80 years old that's gonna tell me what the fuck is gonna happen when I these ailments and shit. I ain't got nobody 20 years
Yeah.
old. No, what I look like with a 20-year old older than me friend. Like I don't got that. So like
Yeah.
that's good to have.
Yeah.
Would you say he's your biggest influence on how you parent now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is because my parents both in general, but especially my father because he's just so like well balanced and kind of just like you can ask. So the funny part is my co-host he knew my parents before I was born, right? So they knew him as a child because they all went to the same church organization, right? And so when my dad was 21, my co-host was like 6, you know what I'm saying? Or he was like, excuse me, he was like 12, somewhere around there. And then I came, around later. So it's like super cool with that aspect. But anybody who knows my dad will just say like, yo, he's just a chill dude, but he's level headed. My dad has always taught me like, hey, one of the things I have to say about my father is he always apologized. And some of that came later. He used to always apologize when I was younger, but I was just like, all right, whatever, it's cool. Like, thank you, but hey, you said I can't do this, I can't do this. You said I can't go here, I can't go here. It don't matter, right? But then when I got older, I realized I appreciate his apologies. Like, hey, I didn't do this right. I should have did this. I should have listened here. I should have said this to your mom. I should have said this to your sister. I should have said this. And it was real like, dang, like, all right. So when it comes to me, it's like, all right, I want to make sure I parent the best way I can possible and learning to say sorry and having conversations with my son and stuff like that. But yeah, most definitely, as far as parenting, he's the number one person. Is like the influence there.
So let me ask you this: now that you had your first child in your 30s,
Hmm.
right? Do you look back and say they really had me in their 20s? That my mom had me at 19. Your mom was 19 then, right?
Yes.
Right. Can you sit back and imagine what your life would have been like if
Eh,
you had kids at that
No,
age?
bro, I was in a hospital when we had my son. I'm in a hospital, and so you got to sleep on that damn couch that's in
That
the corner,
that
right?
shit. Yeah. Yeah,
The
we all
worst.
sleeping the same thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's the worst thing. So I remember sitting there, and I remember we had one more day we could have stayed at the hospital. And I told my wife, I'm like, yo, let's go home. Like, I can't sleep on this one more time. And then, she's trying to scoot over, let me sleep in the bed with her. The nurse got wind of that. And the nurse was like, hell nah. Like, you cannot sleep beside her. Like, you got to sleep on this couch or leave and come back. So anyway, I was laughing. We laughed at that. And I just remember sitting there. We get home and, the first day is cool. The second day is like when the real work starts. And I looked at my wife and I was like, yo, my mom was 19 doing this. My dad was 21 at that time. I was like, I don't know how they did this. And then 1 year later, my sister came, right? So, and then with my wife, her parents by 22, they had 3 kids. So me and her was just like, yo, how did they do this? Like, what was going on back then? Like, it's just like, cause these kids now, man, especially I got COVID. I got a COVID baby, bro. Like, he built different. I don't know what was going on, but them COVID kids is different, dog. But yeah, so like I said, they're gonna work you. They're gonna make you work too.
Yeah. So and let's back up a little bit. I realize I
Mhm.
introduced you and you keep saying my co-host, my co-host,
Yeah.
my co-host. What is your podcast?
I am one half of the Black Dads Club. We tell everybody, we are not a parenting podcast. We just two dads that sit down and talk. Like, if you come in there thinking you about to raise your kid or get some sound advice on how to raise your kid, you need to tune in to Just My Baby Daddy's podcast or somebody else because we ain't got nothing for you. But um,
Sound advice, I don't know, but you just want to talk, right?
but we love but you know what? The Black Dads Club, we've been doing it honestly since my son was born. The podcast started because we came home after after my son was born. I took 3 months off. I didn't do no photography because I'm a photographer full time. I didn't do no podcasting. And so when I came back, first episode, Mike, who's my co-host, he's like, "Yo, how's it been?" He asked me that on air, and I think I just dumped like, "Yo, y'all," because Mike's son is 7 years older than my son, and I was like, "Bro, it's so much you didn't tell me." I said, "Yo, you ain't tell me about no sleep. You ain't tell me that this girl gonna be going through it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't." I said, "Yo, you didn't tell me that like I'm gonna forget to shower some days. You ain't tell me it was gonna be days I had to choose between eating and sleeping. Like nobody don't tell you that there's gonna be a day where you gotta say, yo, I can either go to sleep right now or I can eat breakfast right now."
You got a son, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what I was, and my son was my second child. I'm gonna tell you what I didn't know, and it threw me completely off the first time it happened to me. I was like, "Oh no, this shit ain't real." I thought this is like some cartoon shit. When motherfucker really pissed on you,
yeah,
like you change his diaper and he just flick up and just piss. Oh
yeah,
my god! I was like, this
bro.
little nigga here, like, what are you doing?
Data and look, it's so much. And so we do this episode and it went really well. We wasn't getting no listens before this. I'll be honest with you. When I tell you we getting zero listens, it was bad. We was getting like 7, 12, 20 listens.
I know it's like,
And so but after this one, we seen a little traction. I don't know if people just like, yo, y'all back. Like, let's just tune in. And afterwards, Mike came to me. He was like, bro, I think I just want to do this. Like, I want to talk about this, like just dad stuff. Like, what do we care about as fathers? So it's a mixture of everything. Some dating, he's dating, some of his politics, a lot of sports, but a lot of like pop culture, but in a lot of like how do we create a community of just top tier men in our community that just, oh, by the way, we just so happen to be fathers. So that's what's going on over there.
yeah, I like y'all show and everything.
Appreciate you.
I can't roll because I feel like I get myself into too much trouble doing that type of topics.
Whenever you come into Charlotte, you got to sit down with us. We got a seat and a microphone for you.
I could be a guest on stuff like
Yeah.
that. I know if I got a microphone and I'm just talking, I get myself in trouble. That's why I stick to the dad shit. Like the dad, like dad is safe, dad is calm, and
Look.
dad is who I am. Dad is
Yeah,
who
we
I
have
am.
fun.
So
We have fun though.
let me ask you this. When was your first man, I'm really a dad moment that you had?
Dude, probably my first one is so my wife had a long maternity leave. Just the job she was at that time, they did like 6 months, right? And so, yeah, it was crazy. And so, anyway, she thought she had 2 weeks left, right? And so we going to the daycare to do a tour. And dog,
Mm.
when we leaving the restaurant, and my son is like, he's 5 months, something like that. Well, he's about to be 6 months because she's been gone literally for almost 6 months. And so we leaving the restaurant to go to the daycare tour, bruh. And so we there, and the lady called and was like, her job called and said, "Hey, so you're reporting back on Monday?" And she was like, "No, I have 2 weeks." And she said, "No, you don't have 2 weeks. You got 2 days, Saturday and Sunday."
Ooh.
And my wife about lost her shit, right? So anyway, we go to the daycare, everything is cool. And so to answer your question, I think my time was like, so the first day of daycare, she couldn't go. She couldn't mentally go. Uh, and so I had to do it. And so it's me, I'm really carrying a newborn in a car seat to the daycare, and I'm literally carrying him up there. Like, shoot, I'm dropping my baby off. And I pick my son up every day. Like, I drop him off every day at daycare. I pick him up every day. And it was like doing that was really like what's going on. Also, I get that feeling all the time because whenever I pick him up, he runs around the corner from daycare and just yells my name and come and jump into like he jumps and just grabs bear hugs like a koala bear my leg. But yeah, dropping him off at daycare, man, like, and going to pick him up, that was probably my time.
So just speak to that one thing because I don't think people talk about that enough. that one little moment that you're talking about, and I know exactly what it's like when you're coming into that daycare and first of all, you don't like even going to that daycare because you don't like paying for it, right?
Yes.
But you're going into that daycare and you walk in there and that little creature that you created just sitting right there, like you
Uh-huh.
gets on your nerves. Probably in the next 2 minutes after you leave daycare, they're gonna do something to piss you off. But
Mhm.
that little 2 seconds when you walk around that corner, like what was that like? Especially when you notice that they run and talk because yours is still young right now and that run
Yeah,
that daddy. How does that feel?
bro. It feels great because he's cheesing, he's got his arms wide, he running full speed, and the daycare teachers, they just smile. Also, I ain't gonna lie, it's probably like me and like 4 other dads who be picking up and dropping off near the same time, and I think the daycare loves that. They get to see, like, black fathers, like, super active, right? Like, one dad, me and him, I see him every day, you know what I'm saying? I send him pie merch, like stuff like that. Cause, and so for me, just hearing his voice, hearing him smile, seeing him be excited, sometimes I don't know if he doing it because he didn't got in trouble. So he trying to hurry up and get me up out the door. Cause he didn't did that before. Like he'd be like, "Oh, let's go, let's go." And then we were going out the door and the daycare teacher be like, "Oh, I need to talk to you." And it's like that. But like hearing that, I wouldn't trade that in nothing for the world. Honestly, I told my girl, I'm like, "I wanna record this because I wanna remember this, like, when he's 18, right? Before he start getting stank and he need deodorant and all this other stuff, and he need to wash his ass more, like, all that stuff, but, that feeling in the world make you be proud to be a dad.
Yeah, actually recording it will be a really good idea because what's funny, and it just played itself out again for me earlier this week for my daughter's second birthday,
Okay.
where I think it was my oldest daughter. It was either she was turning 2 or 3,
Mhm.
and I went to the daycare and I recorded because I wasn't in town a lot during that time. And I
Yeah.
came in town. I was picking her up from daycare, and I had like the little cupcakes and everything. And I just got the video of me coming up and her losing her mind, just
Yeah.
yelling, "Daddy, daddy, daddy!" And we fast forward to shit, literally like 10 years later, and as my youngest daughter, my oldest daughter said, "Hey, Dad, I want to make sure I stay an extra night because normally they go back on Sunday." She said, "I need to
Yeah.
stay until Monday. I want to go to daycare because she's seen the video of like
Yeah.
the whole thing happening." She said, "Man, I want to go and I want to do that now with my sister." So it's like
Yeah.
it's cool. Recording that I think would be really cool because it'd be something you can look back on later on and just especially when they piss you off.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about the daycare? Because my boy birthday is in 2 weeks, right? No, excuse me, 3 weeks, and we gonna go to the daycare with cupcakes. What's funny is when you walk in and the other kids know that you're like, "Hey, this is" like, my son name is Roman. They be like, "Roman, there's your dad." Like, they know, and I'd be thinking that's cool too, and I always laugh because 'cause they be like, "Roman, your dad's here. Come get your dad, blah, blah, blah," and I always laugh about that, but yeah,
Yeah,
kids are funny, bro.
man. Yeah, that's one adjective to use. I mean,
Yeah, that's it's one of the let's use it as a top one today.
yeah, yeah. I mean, kids are definitely fun, and it's crazy because right now you're in this position where he's building his own little personality and everything now.
Mhm.
So what has that been like to see that? And are you seeing any bits of your personality there?
Bro, what? He talks nonstop, and I finally understand why my mom says she used to be tired all the time. Like, sometimes I'll be like, "Yo, I'm raising me," and it's scary. Like, it's dude, he wake up talking, he go to sleep talking. Like, that's what I used to do as a kid. I used to always talk. Probably why I got a podcast, right? Like, but
Yeah,
He he talking, he fearless. He be on top of stuff and just jump off, like skydive off of something, right? His favorite character is Superman. I mean, not Superman, Spider-Man. So like he be trying stuff he be seeing. So I'm like trying to get him not to do that. And it's, trying to get him to stay focused on certain things, and I'm just like, yo, this is exactly what my mom used to be on my ass about all the time. That I used to just be like, I ain't that bad. And I was never bad. I was just so active and talkative. So yeah, it's a lot of that around the house. But it's fun, man. Some days I'm tired. Some days I'm just like, I could do this. You know what I'm saying? It's tough when my wife job requires her to travel a good little bit, right? So it's funny, today I had to put my boy to sleep early because she's in Arizona. And I was like, I knew I had to do this. And so, so certain days where it's like this is like he be pushing it. But like when she hear it, it's a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? So it's all cool though.
Well, speak to that, because that's something that we don't give enough credit to, is the help and support that your wife provides, being
Yeah,
there. So how does that help?
dude. So I tell everybody I couldn't imagine doing this by myself. I think that was the other thing. As soon as we had him, like on day 2 or day not even probably day 2, probably first week once we got home, right? I think I called my sister and I was like, "Yo, I don't know how you did this by yourself. Like, I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it." I was like, "I don't understand why nobody would want to do this on their own. Like, I just don't."
I
I
don't
could,
either.
yeah, because it seems like you can't be 100% at anything doing this by yourself. Like, you're not even raising your kid 100% the most healthy way doing this by yourself, let alone work, let alone your social life, let alone if you have a spiritual life, like, let alone everything else that, you know, 100%, you're not giving it to nowhere because this is so much. It requires so much. And so for me, when I have my wife, like, we tag team mornings. Sometimes it's her morning, sometimes it's mine. And that ain't like, hey, it's Tuesday, it's your morning. It's like, yo, when that alarm clock go off, one of us is hopping out the bed. And there's been times where I hopped up and she's like, yo, get 10 more minutes of sleep. I got you. Because I take him to school, right? So it behooves me to get him up and get him moving. But she like, no, I got it. You good, right? We tag team homework, you know what I'm saying? But of course, if she's cooking, then I'm doing homework. I'm, playing with him and we trying to, one of us is bathing him, the other one's making sure he got clothes out, stuff like that. So I love the partnership of it. Me and her always made a joke, like, if something ever happened to us, we just gonna have to stick this thing out until he, like, to a certain age, we'd be like, all right, girl, we can't do this no more. Cause I couldn't imagine, dog. Like, he's a lot. And I'm grateful for it, man. I always tell dudes, I'm like, yo, give you, like, bruh, it don't benefit black men to have kids outside of like they wives and stuff like that, because you'll be stressed, dog. You be stressed. You be stressed. And it sucks because the ladies don't like to hear that, and then it's like when you talk to men, they just sound super, super stressed, and I be feeling bad for dudes because 'cause I'm like, I know it's tough out there. Cause these girls, like, bruh, if my wife was driving me crazy at certain times, right? I know if you're not in the house with the person you raising your kid with, I know it can be tough and stuff can get lost in communication and stuff like that. So, but now I really appreciate my wife. But sometimes I get to do the single dad joint when she's out of town. She got a part. I know, but
I'm gonna
she
stop you
has a
right there. You don't get to do the single dad joint,
no, no,
because
no.
you know at the end of the day, her ass is coming back.
She coming right back. That's the joke. She always feels bad because at the middle in springtime, she's gone for like 6 weeks, right? For work. And so I be here. And so she be feeling bad, but she'll come home like some weekends, stuff like that. But it's literally she fly in, she go right back out. And she be feeling bad. And I'm like, yo, I know you coming home. I ain't tripping. Like, I just gotta deal with this until then, whatever. And it ain't like I'm like losing my mind. I know why she's gone. I know she's working. And I think that's the other thing. Sometimes men are dealing with women who don't understand the sacrifices that we make as men. And so it gets tough. But yeah, you know how to go. I don't want to go on the whole soapbox.
Hey, you can look, but see, this is what. But I'm letting you talk, because I don't want to go.
Hey man.
I
Cause
know,
I
I
go.
know, I know. You can go. Look, the platform is here for you to go and me to listen. Because sometimes I know.
Nah, it was funny. That was that whole logic is how I lost a group of friends. I said that on the podcast one time. I lost a group of friends. I don't talk to none of them anymore,
Man,
man.
because
And it
niggas
was
was hurt.
yeah, but it wasn't even that. It was our group chat was it was men and women. And the ladies did not like that logic. And it was tough because we had some guys in there. We had two guys in a group who was going through hell with their baby moms. And they was like, yo, he right. I don't know why y'all fighting him on this. Like, cause it was like as soon as I had my kid, I think I wrote in our group chat the first week. I don't know how people do this alone. This is not it. This is not the mode.
Mm.
And the girl, I was like, I would never, like, I would not. And the girls didn't like that. The group chat broke up. But the dudes, it was funny on the side. They was just like, they had said it to them, and then I spoke to them. They was like, "Bruh, that shit for the birds, bruh. Like it's really for the birds."
Be by itself
Yeah,
doing this
like
shit.
doing this.
Like,
And it's so much more expensive.
man, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you, this is it's so odd that it's taken in differently, right? Like you say that to you can say that about men, and you shouldn't be alone. This me, for example, I'm by myself. I can
Mhm.
take it, listen to it, and be cool with it.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you talk to certain people, they take that and they get offensive and everything. It's like it's just the truth. Some
yeah.
people can't handle hearing the truth. Yeah, like that shit you talking about. Like I can't, I don't know how they just do it. And I look at myself every day and be like, I don't know how I do it. You're like, yeah, they walked around stressed. I'm like, oh, this is talking right to me. He must not be looking up in the camera. Like, yeah, this nigga talking, living my life.
Bruh, cause I be looking at it like I got a wife at home and we doing this together, and some days it's just like I be stressed, right? But I still got somebody who could say, "Hey," at any given day, like, "Hey, I got you. I can take this. Let me do this for you." Uh, like I give you a great example. Thursday, I gotta me and my boy gonna pick her up from the airport. We gotta go straight to a photo shoot. As soon as I get here from the airport, we're going to a photo shoot, right? And so as soon as we get to the photo shoot, the funny part is it's like, all right, she get to watch him while I'm doing the photo shoot. You know, I couldn't imagine like having a baby mom and it's like, hey, I need you to watch the kids. I gotta go to work. And it's like, nah, it ain't my time. It ain't my week. It ain't my day. And I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, that's tough. That's a tough world to be in. So I'm glad I'm not in that world. And I pray for all my brothers that's in that world. Hopefully it gets better soon.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in that situation with like, the person they have to go to work and I just got it's not my week. I'll take
Hmm.
them. It's not a
Yeah.
because to me, I would take my kids 365. Would I prefer to do it by myself? No. But if it meant I got to see them every day, I will take them by myself every day of the
And
week.
most men would, dog. And I think that's what bothers me about like, and I would love to know your opinion on like how your opinion has like shifted on black men, especially black fathers, since doing this podcast. Cause I guess I had a certain view of like black fathers before I did my podcast. Nothing negative, but like you believe some of the statistics, right? Or you believe some of the narratives out there, and then you start this pod, you start meeting other black fathers, then you start finding black communities, and then you start researching stuff yourself, and you like, wait a second, wait, what? Like most of the dads who I talk to, they like, yo, if I can have full custody of my kid, I take it. Like but they won't give it to me. They won't want to help me with that. And like it's a tough world to be in. All the dads I know personally love their kids. They want to be with them 365, you know what I'm saying? And when a girl called them and say, hey, I need to switch weeks or I need to do this, it's like, all right, cool, bet. Because I'd rather have my kid than my kid with some random babysitter, or they go, you looking for childcare. Where's your sister who I don't like, stuff like that, right? So it's like, nah, I'd rather have my kid, you know what I'm saying? So, but before this pod, I ain't think that ever like really existed, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
So for me, I've only known good dads, right? So even though I wasn't raised by like my family, my cousin has full custody of his daughter.
Mhm.
Like, and he's had full custody of his daughter since she was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like, so I've always known about just good dad. Now, when I grew up without a father.
Mhm.
Everybody, my cousins outside of the two, we all grew up like, with
Mhm.
dads. Neighborhood. I only think of my one set of friends. There was two brothers. They had their dad. They was just their
Yeah.
dad. But like I couldn't think of nobody married. Like so, it wasn't a thing until I got older, and now I see dads everywhere,
Yeah.
right? And it's uplifting to see. But one thing I do notice too is a lot of us go through the same shit.
Mhm.
A lot of us do, and the thing is, what's good about this is it's a platform where people can speak about it openly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time we do have these conversations. We all go through the same stuff, but we might only talk about it with maybe one or two people in our friend group,
Yeah.
and that's it, and don't go outside of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you feel like you're so isolated in the bubble. So even me
Yeah.
within my friend group, like my friends, like my single friends do not have children.
Yeah.
My married friends, my other friends that have children, they're married. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm in here single with kids. I ain't living that life that they living at all.
Yeah.
The single ones, and I don't have the support and help that the married ones have either. So it's just like I'm just out. I'm just
Yeah.
out here. But then I realized I talked to a bunch of other dads, like, oh, you got a child's mom that's oh yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. I don't say
Yeah.
everything that I just nod my head sometimes because I'm going through certain things still. So I can just kind of nod my head and agree. But like, yeah, it's but I also say I do a good job of vetting what I put out and who I talk to because I
Mhm.
will say, and I don't know if they watch my content or not, but the nigga's episode ain't never coming out because I know he's fucking lying. Like, you know what I mean? So like I don't just allow anything to happen. Like you can't come on here and act like you're super dad when I know that I brought you on here to tell the truth, not for you
Yeah.
to, build a platform for yourself and you try to get holes or something. Like nigga, like, come on, tell the truth.
I
This
love
helps
when
nobody.
dog, before I had the dad's podcast, I had a photography podcast and I used to bring guests on and they were like some of the biggest liars. And I used to be like, yo, I know you lying. You forgot I know you? And it's like, and sometimes you be looking at them like, hold on, you trying to do this for the Instagram or are you trying to play my face right now? Like, I think you trying to play with me right now because you know I know the truth. And like you really try you got me fucked up right now. Like
Mhm.
I'm with you. So that's funny to hear.
Yeah, like come on, man. Like we are here to talk. Like there are dads that are not in their children's lives.
Hmm.
It's not okay, but there's a reason, there's a story, there's things to
Hmm.
it. You're not the only person that has that story, but
Yeah,
don't act like the shit's not happening. Like we're
absolutely.
not, we're not, we're not going to do that. Like you got side babies, but we just gonna talk about your two kids. Like we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about your four kids. Like, come on, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're gonna talk about all of it. We're gonna really get real about it. If not, what's the point of us doing this?
absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I talk about my flaws and shit. I mean, I do. If I'm gonna do it, I expect my guests to be able to open up and do the same. But if I'm not vulnerable enough to do that, then I don't expect them to be. So, you know,
Yeah. And I try to tell dads all the time, especially when they come on our pod, it's like, bro, the number one thing that you will learn, married, not married, boy or girl, one kid, multiple kids, like all dads going through the same exact stuff, dog. Like we all facing temptation. We all facing like the kids getting on our nerves. We all facing issues with the mother of our child. We all facing like, am I doing this right? You know, that's one of the things that scares me the most as a dad. Is like, yo, am I doing this right? I seen good examples, you know what I'm saying, with my father and stuff like that. But like, am I doing my part right? Am I setting my kid up correctly? You know what I'm saying? So it's all and it's cool because you're running to people and be like, yo, y'all said something and it made me be like, all right, I'm on it. I'm headed in the right direction. Or you know what? At least I ain't going through this alone. That's the biggest thing I want people to understand that, hey, I ain't going through this shit alone.
yeah, that's one of the biggest things too. It's like, especially when it comes like the mental stress and all of that that you're going through, trying to provide, trying to make sure you do everything, and you don't break a sweat. I mean, you got
Yeah.
to do it with not necessarily with a smile on your face, but you
Yeah.
just do it and just keep pushing and just keep moving. No seconds to take a deep breath and breathe. Like we just
Absolutely.
we just we just keep moving and moving and moving. So before you get out of here, I'm gonna get you out of here on this question. What
Cool,
would you
cool,
want
cool.
your legacy as a father to be?
Oh my gosh. My goal, let me put it like this. My goal has been everything that my father did for me. I'm trying to figure out how farther I can take that for my child. Right. And I want my son to know, like, hey, my dad reached for the stars. Like, and so I tell you what that means, what that looks like for me. Like when I was younger, I remember, bro, we was in the 3rd grade. I was in the 3rd grade, excuse me. And I remember my dad, my dad is high school educated. And he was working in a warehouse. And I just remember my dad was just like, you cannot go to, are you from Charlotte? No, no, but you spent some time
Okay,
here, right?
yeah.
So my dad was like, yo, you're not going to Garinger. I don't know if you know what Garinger is. It's on the east side. It's not a good high
No,
school.
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my dad was like, you're not going there. Like, you're not going there. And I remember at the 3rd grade, I'm like, who, what? Why are we talking about high school? You know what I'm saying? And I remember the next year I was in a school in a better district, excuse me, in a better part of the city where I could go to nicer schools. He bought a home up there and it was just like he prepared himself in the high school. You know what blew my mind is I'm in elementary school and I'm like, so what high school am I going to go to? Because I'm so young, I don't understand the concept of like, oh, you go to middle school, then you go to high school, right? The high school wasn't even built yet, bruh. But like that's how far my dad knew, my parents knew that the high school was coming. They knew where it was gonna be at. And they knew that, hey, they gonna give first priority to kids that live in this side of town, blah, blah, blah. And like that always stuck to me as a child. Like he was thinking there. I always laugh and I tell people, I'm like, I remember I remember being in elementary school and telling my friends I went on a cruise and none of my friends knew what a cruise was, right? But like my dad was like, I want you to see stuff. I want to take you places. I want you to get out there. And so like, and he's doing this because he didn't have none of that. Right. And he was like, yo, no, my kids gonna grow up in the suburbs. They gonna go to a nice school. They gonna be able to go to college if they want to. And him, we ain't had no choice of going to college anyway, right? So it was like, it was that. So I want my legacy would be my son is like, hey, we gonna get to all those steps faster and we gonna get you there further, right? So I'm working towards that. Even furthermore, just to expand the question is like, I want my legacy more or less with the pod to be, I want a community of like men, bruh. Like, you know, I say this and we can look, we can come back to this on another episode. I feel like there's like a division with black men. And then you got these like little young boys, these little YNs who just cut up and who make us look crazy in public, right? And then you got these the upper top black men, whether that's good jobs, whether it's take care of your kids. You just a upstanding man. It ain't you don't gotta be rich. You know what I'm saying? We know too many celebrities who got a bunch of money and they just suck at life, right? They just trash people. But I'm talking about like the top third of black men that are really just genuine people who want to be great men, who want to take our community to another level. I want to create a community of those people with the podcast, and I want to see what we could do. Because I really think, it's a damn shame that we still talking about black people 13% of this country, dog. Like that don't make sense, right? It's a damn shame where they lie to us. We can't shift elections no more, dog. It ain't enough of us, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
but we should be able to, you know what I'm saying? It got to be us here in boardrooms. We got to, like, I love when I speak to other black men, they like, oh, I sit on the board at my child's school. And I'm like, that is amazing. You shifted in how the education at your kid's school. And that's how you look, you take your expertise, you go sit on the board at a school. Now your kids they get accepted into that school and they getting this free education. And it's mind blowing, right? But like, we got to start changing those things and reaching out and saying like, hey, how do we change the narrative? Not even just the narrative no more on black men. That's changing, right? But at the same time, how do we change the world? So I want to create that as well. But yeah, definitely like taking us everything a step further with my kid. Maybe I have another one. I want one more, bro. They expensive. You know how much daycare
Well,
costs.
I'm not helping that percentage of black people on this in America. That shit is whatever it is, it's going to stay that way if it's up to me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not here to help populate America. These niggas gonna stay
Look,
exactly where they are. Numbers ain't gonna expand at all if it's up to me. So that
I'm giving y'all one more if she allows me, bro, and it'll be the last one. But it ain't even that. I saw some wild ass stat, and I don't look. We gotta fact check this, but I
we got
forgot. And yeah, that's true. But like the amount of abortions from black women, the amount of abortions that was contributed to black women was so high. It was like mind boggling to me. I was just like, yo, like some of that is that, and I'm not talking about medical abortions and stuff like that. I'm talking about like the stuff like that. And it's like,
Oh,
cause
I think you realize you've been talking to me this whole time. Like, damn, I feel bad. I'm not helping the population of new babies. And I heard I added to that abortion one long time ago. Long time ago though.
nah, so it's like, yo, our community got to keep growing. And dude, once we keep growing and we start figuring out, I always laugh because I said, dude, I look at the church I used to go to, and me and Mike's biggest joke is like, if you imagine what black churches could be, if let's say in a home, let's take black church, right? And you say like, all right, everybody that's born there, that's raised in those churches, if those churches say, hey, who is the best, photographer here? How can you help this church? Who is the best insurance agent here? Everybody in this church needs life insurance. Like I want you to sit down with every family and help them. It's gonna help your agency, but it's also gonna help the people here. Once we start caring about community, then things have changed. If they would say, hey, who's the best lawyer in here? So now that anybody here that has a case, maybe you could be able to help them out, offer them some type of advice. You would still get paid. Like if we able to say, hey, how can you help the organization? Because that's how the black community used to really be ran. It's like, all right, we got our leaders, they got some influence in the church. Now everybody getting paid, and it's like shit is a mess. But whatever, man. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did. I don't even want to talk about lawyers because if it's a lawyer, you can't help out everybody in the church if they're going against each other.
They can't. But like, look, think about think about this podcast, think about your podcast. If you got everybody that you knew to help you out and they the top marketing person sat down with you, you know what I'm saying? The top production person that sat down with you and think about what they could do for your pod, man. It'll change your life. If they could just not even saying they have to work for you,
These
but if
niggas
they
could
just
be
say,
reliable.
who you telling?
That's a whole nother story.
Who you telling? You imagine, what podcasting be like if people was reliable like that?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I like that. Like I got a couple of boys right now who help me out and like I use a expertise, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um I had a dude who we were about to be on the TV network and one of my friends, he's a lawyer and I hit him up. I said, "Yo, I don't know how many photo shoots I owe you, but can you look over this contract for me cuz I don't know what's going on."
Yeah.
And he looked over it for me, but I said like that's how we got to start working with people. Like that's how our community grows. It's like, "Yo, hey, I can help you with this. I'm into digital marketing. I'm into photography. I'm a lawyer, stuff like that." But that's how it is, bro.
So look, we're gonna try to help your community grow. So before we get out of here, I want you to give us all your socials, everything that you're gonna do, how everybody can contact you.
Look, you can find me at first of all, follow the Black Dads Club podcast. Is Black Dads Club on everywhere. And I have it super easy as well. It's I am underscore Gavin B. That's everywhere. It don't matter if you're on Twitter, Facebook, Threads. I was one of those weirdos like back when Facebook first got started and they let you create your username and I stuck with I am Gavin B and I ain't changed it since, dog. Like so and luckily I just get whenever a new app come out, I just hop on there, get my joint and dip out.
Mine is my name. Like it's just easy. Like
Look,
ain't nobody
yeah.
got that.
And then you know what made me mad was I got on TikTok and then I forgot the doggone so I logged in on a phone on TikTok and I traded that phone in and that was the only way I can get in that thing. So I still got my name, but I can't log in that shit on TikTok for that. But yeah, follow us. We drop an episode every week. If you like photography and you like shit talking, come to my personal page. I'll be on there and there. But besides that, I do want to say this. I want to thank you. What you doing is dope. Keep toughing it out, dog. Like people need you. People needs to hear your voice. People need to hear the people you having on here. I tell every creator, like you already know. I can assume that you already know. It's dark days. It's days when you don't want to do this. It's days when your kids, they
Don't
got you tired. They don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I it was the reason why I told you earlier. I said, yo, at 8:15, 8 o'clock, that's when I can try to make sure everything is set up. Cause my kid was like, he was adamant on not going to sleep. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But like what you always say, I always tell everybody, like, keep this up, man. And every episode, my advice to you personally is like every episode, try to make one thing different and try to make one thing better than last episode, whatever that could be. And I
Yeah.
promise you, you just gonna see this thing grow beyond like your wildest dreams. Cause then you're gonna start walking, and I know it's gonna happen. I know it's probably already happened. You're gonna be walking the street. Somebody gonna thank you for it. You know what I'm saying? So keep this up, man. And I can't wait to see it grow. And then we definitely gonna have you when you come in Charlotte. You know,
Yeah.
we in person base. So whenever you in the city,
I'm gonna be
and
there. I'm gonna be there. I gotta get down there soon. I
yeah,
got way too many people there that I'm supposed to see.
yeah.
So
You got more Charlotte people coming on. You could have just came down here one weekend, knocked all three
I
out,
know,
and
right? That's what I used to do. When I used to do them in person, we would do 4 or 5
yeah,
episodes at one time. Come down to Charlotte, knock them all out. It's evergreen material, so it just lasts forever. But
yeah.
yeah, just
Next
then
time
I
you
had
come
a.
down,
You talk about finding the right people.
yeah.
My goddamn. I got some episodes from Charlotte that will never come out either because it can't sound right, don't look right. So like, I gotta
Look,
I gotta find the right folks, and then I'll do it. I'm gonna get back to doing in person soon. In person changes
yeah.
the game. It's a game changer.
Yeah, I like it because you can gauge people's energy.
Yeah,
It's always weird when you see how people are online and then they get with you in person. You kind of like, all right.
nigga, you
I had one
weird.
dude, bruh. I had a nigga one time. I was reading off. So I used to have this like weird segment where I would read off your Facebook statuses. Like from back in the day, if you said something wow, I would just read it off to you and be like, explain it. And it wasn't like a crazy thing. It'd be like,
Glad my shit is. Oh
yeah.
God.
Well, at that point in time, people wasn't really canceling people, but I wasn't about like shock. I wasn't about the shock thing, but I
Okay.
was also like, if you had like a wild sports take or a music take, bro, I had a dude I was reading off his statuses. You know, this dude was telling me every stat. That's not me. I'm like, bro, I follow you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, but you know how to go. But nah, man, I'll
Yeah.
talk your head off for the rest of the day. But nah, I appreciate you, bro. I really, really appreciate this.
All right, man. Well, look, we'll get it again sometime. You see us in maybe in Charlotte.
There you go.
Episode of Just My Baby Daddy podcast. I know you liked what you saw. So what I need for you to do is go back and look at past episodes. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube page, Just My Baby Daddy Podcast. And you can follow us on all social media at Just My Baby Daddy Pod.